Teachers are most effective in the classroom when they can collaborate with their colleagues, get constructive, ongoing feedback on their instruction, and receive targeted, job-embedded professional development. The talent management category of the TLF helps leaders think through how they recruit and select new staff members and guides leaders in developing staff by providing ongoing feedback and learning opportunities. Finally, it highlights the importance of building instructional leadership capacity beyond the principal. The first lever of talent management discusses what a principal needs to look for when first recruiting, selecting, and hiring staff members who are all aligned to that vision. When principals hire teachers, they need to identify candidates who have the skills the school needs to improve its teaching team and to reach its goals. And they also need to look for teachers who share the school and community's core values.
It's better than not answering the question at all.
So he provides the hints, it's not like you have something in your notebook.
Yeah, that's what we like. I have no idea whatsoever.
We want to bring on adults who are deeply committed to our mission, to our school, and what we are about. Are they reflective? Are they hard workers? Are they collaborative? What is their commitment level to our mission?
Just watch your time, guys. Feel free to move on to B and C. Remember, you can split them up on the actual AP test, too.
We've done, I think, a really good job of having a unified team of adults who believe deeply in our mission and our students.
The timely recruitment and onboarding of staff is the key to assessing potential staff members' belief in the school's mission, their content knowledge, and their instructional strengths. Powell Elementary in DC accomplishes this by incorporating multiple stakeholders to recruit and onboard new staff members.
So is 6 plus 3, 9? 10. Try the next one now.
We have a personnel committee that has a range of staff involved from different grade levels, different content areas. We have a rubric so that once we ask questions, we evaluate the candidate based on that rubric. The staff are also invited, not only the personnel committee members, but any staff member is invited to attend and participate in the selection of future candidates. It is important for me that the teachers contribute to the culture of the school and select the candidates for the next year.
We have quite a few layers of what we do to screen potential candidates and to find out if candidates are the right fit for our school. So we do have another teacher leader who's our official chair who reaches out to potential candidates, but it's a team approach to hiring new teachers and new staff at Powell, again, because it's too big of a job for any one person to do themselves.
And the committee reviews the resumes together. Then there are certain candidates that are pushed forward based on what we need and the vacancies we expect. After we review the resumes, one of the committee members' jobs is to start the recruitment process by reaching out to them by email, by calling them and scheduling the interview and the demonstration lesson. Others are then selected to watch the demonstration lesson, and then they score it based on the rubric. And then if they're pushed forward from there, then we schedule the in-person interview as well. And there are other members, or sometimes it's the same committee members that attend the in-person interviews and watch the in-person demonstration lessons. And then the committee comes together as a whole and selects the best candidates.
Once a candidate has been identified, selected, and hired, the leadership team at Powell has structures in place to support teachers who are new to the school.
New staff are brought on board, whether they're new to the profession or new to Powell, by coming to an orientation session that happens before the systems orientation and before the whole school's orientation.
New teachers typically are brought together to create their own little cohort that follows them throughout the year. I feel that the staff who are new each year also rely on each other for strength and camaraderie. And then throughout the school year, we have recurring new teacher cohort meetings, which I facilitate and our admin also attends on a variety of topics.
As a new teacher, the leadership team and the administration are really supportive in making sure that I am developing and feeling supported in all ways. So the opportunities that they give me are regular new teacher collaboration meetings that we have about once a month, where all new teachers at Powell get together and express concerns, as well as learn the evaluation process here with District of Columbia Public Schools. So in that way, there's a regular communication, and we also express where we might need more growth areas and more support in progression. While we had the new teacher orientation meetings about once a month and continue to do so, we are present for conversations throughout all of the staff meetings. And we are open to opportunities that veteran teachers are as well. For example, I'm part of the hiring committee. It's my first year here at Powell, but I was given the opportunity to sit on board and represent our school and also decide what the future of our staff is going to look like. So that was an amazing opportunity for me.
A principal's role in talent development does not end with filling vacancies. They must also work to continually and consistently create opportunities for current teachers and staff to develop their leadership skills. They must provide authentic ways for staff members to direct school initiatives and lead professional development sessions that contribute to the development of the school team while also building internal capacity. The formation of a high-functioning instructional leadership team is the second lever of talent management.
Another role of the principal is to develop a strong team. That can't just be me. It wouldn't be sustainable. So developing a strong academic leadership team is very important. It used to be a very small team, but as you grow and you want to develop teacher leadership and the staff gains an experience and trust with you as a leader, more people want to participate. And as the years have gone with this academic leadership team, it was me and the dean and an assistant principal. Then we had an instructional coach. Then we developed the teacher leaders. Now there's 4 of them that have release time to coach teachers and do a lot of the administrative work as well.
Good morning. Our purpose today is to ensure that we are creating mini lessons from effective learning objectives.
Often abbreviated to ILT, these teams consistently model and reinforce school-wide philosophy, core values, responsibility, and efficacy by supporting teacher teams, leading data-driven instruction cycles, conducting teacher observations, providing feedback, and completing evaluations.
And where the slope intersect.
The third lever of talent management has leaders developing teachers by providing frequent and actionable feedback as part of their ongoing performance management. As leaders set clear expectations for performance, staff members develop a shared understanding of how their work supports school-wide goals. Together, staff and principals can collaborate to identify specific areas to improve their individual practice. In order for that type of performance management to exist at the school, the principal must establish an environment in which staff members are able to engage in professional learning opportunities that support and facilitate their development. These learning moments tie directly to the day-to-day work of the team and include content and approaches that are immediately applicable. When Mr. A first became principal of Alfred Nobel Elementary School in Chicago, he identified the school's lack of teacher collaboration and took steps to move these levers of talent management in order to transform the way his school developed its staff.
When I started here, there was a lot of isolation from classroom to classroom. If teachers collaborated, it was basically around things that did not focus really on student achievement nor on it was focused on children per se. I also knew that cultural climate was critical if I was going to be successful in changing the mindset of people here. So we set aside 45 minutes at the beginning for every teacher in every grade level to collaborate and to talk about students.
Right? Thinking that, well, it says objective, that's the objective, but in all reality, it's so much more. There's so many.
Collaboration is a huge thing. We're always bouncing ideas off of each other. So my grade level, along with other grade levels, meet during our preps to start with the lesson plans, and that's where the collaboration starts.
Collaboration is the key for good instruction, because you have all this combined wealth of knowledge from teachers that have been here 1 year that learn all the latest stuff in college to teachers that have been here 20 years and say, oh, this is what I did to solve that problem, or this is what I did to make sure that the students learned what they needed to learn.
And then you can say, I know that they're not equal because I have 4 and I have 2, and they don't match. So saying that specifically, that's the thing. That's making that transparent. Instead of
Once Mr. A was able to foster a sense of collaboration among his teachers, he, along with his instructional leadership team, developed a comprehensive professional learning plan focused on school-wide instructional goals and strategies.
The cycle helps guide our instruction. The standards tell us exactly what to teach. The cycle helps us figure out how to deliver that to the students. It helps us figure out how we're going to teach it.
The professional learning cycle is based on an instructional strategies or skills to address the development of our teachers. And we created what we call a powerful practice. Based on that, we got together with the instructional leadership team and we created what is called cycles of professional learning.
Through these professional learning cycles, the ILT at Nobel, led by Mr. A and his instructional coaches, is able to address a problem of practice that is identified using a variety of data.
Through observations, classroom visitations, conversations, meetings with our instructional leadership team, we gather data that basically let us know that children were sitting for 40 minutes listening to the teacher lecture them about the skill, strategy, or the concept that they were trying to teach that day or that week. We collected the data, we got together with the ILT team, and we decided that we would focus on the mini lesson to make sure that our teachers are being very intentional in setting the expectations, the learning objectives for the students within the framework of the Reader's workshop. We find that in the lesson plan, the objective is one, while the what and the why has nothing to do with, right? There is no relationship between the lesson plan or the what and the why. So our instructional leadership team members are leads in their grade levels also. So they are like liaisons between the coaches, administration, and if our teachers see that something could be working better, they will bring that up to us, and then we create an action plan or adjust our cycle to ensure that all the voices are heard throughout the school.
Our grade level meetings are scheduled ahead of time and are based on the professional learning cycle that we have. All our information pertaining to a professional practice is in the professional learning cycle. Planning ahead, looking at the objectives and how we can include modeling and make our instruction more intentional and effective.
Well, we look at the standards and we think, what do our students need to know in order to meet that standard? Well, what's important? What does a standard mean? What does it look like at this specific grade level? So we're able to sit down and talk about it, and we're able to get different ideas of not only what does that standard mean, but what are different ways to get there. After we've planned things, we go off and teach them. So in my mini lesson, the teaching point of what I'm doing and why they're doing it is going to come up several times. I'm going to say it when I start it, I'm going to reflect on it after I model it, and I'm going to expect that the students are going to be able to say it back at the end of the mini lesson. I think the major event is...
So when peer observation happens, we decide if us as school or us at grade level, are we ready to move on to the next part of the cycle. By looking into each other's classroom, they realize there might be holes and gaps and there might not be a common understanding. And that's when they try to address those and try to fill that gap.
When we go into classrooms and we have our other peers in there, after that 10 or 15 minute mini lesson, we get to come back out, we debrief what happened. And that's when there might be different suggestions. Maybe the lesson was too long, or maybe it was just right. So getting feedback from peers really helps our mini lessons stay mini.
And it's the opportunity right then for our teachers to say, okay, based on the feedback, this is what I need to implement. When the powerful practice is not being effective in 1 or 2 classrooms, we decide as a team how we're going to provide the feedback to that teacher. It has always been about supporting my teachers. How can I support you?
We're going to share our findings. I saw, I noticed, I heard, and I read. What I saw is you started with the connection. This is what we've been doing all week. And then you went right into the teaching.
At the end of the learning cycle, the team at Nobel conducts a series of learning walks, during which they're looking for the effective implementation of specific practices.
The learning walk happens at the end of the cycle, and that gives us a school-wide data on whether we've been successful in implementing the teaching practices that we decided on, or whether we need to go back and readjust, or whether we might need to give support to specific teachers or specific grade level while we move on to the next cycle.
During our learning walks, there is one person in charge of observing the teacher and collects that data whether the teacher is stating the learning objective clearly and being very intentional about the instructional delivery. We have another teacher looking at the environment in terms of anchor charts. Has the teacher developed those anchor charts based on the powerful practice? Then we have another teacher simply walking around the building and collecting all that data just to ensure that there's alignment and we are following the protocols. So once we gather that data based on the powerful practice, we do determine whether our powerful practice is being effective. We analyze the data, we try to find trends across the school. We know that the cycle has been effective if our quantitative data, our standardized data tells us that our students are moving and are growing.
These ongoing cycles of professional learning at Nobel illustrate how Mr. A has been able to pull several talent management levers by developing the leadership capacity of his staff through a highly functioning instructional leadership team that has consistent protocols for observation and feedback within an environment that promotes ongoing professional learning. These actions all work together to transform the school's culture while dramatically improving student outcomes. This school-wide change cannot happen, however, without the infrastructure and systems in place to support it. This is why it is vital that principals must also plan for and provide the necessary operations to support that important work.